it away.
Tiffany, how are you?
I'm here. I am
You
here.
know, me too. Um, I'm excited. We haven't done a soapbox in a very long time that I'm aware of. I actually can't even think of the last one because I think it's been a while.
It has been a while. Oh, didn't we do one on coping skills? No, that wasn't a
Yes.
soapbox, though. That was a regular episode. Yeah, it's been a hot minute.
It's been a while. So, I mean, if you found yourself here, we originally started this because there were things that we felt like were better for a shorter form type format than maybe a whole podcast episode or the length we do podcast episodes. So we want to talk a little bit about just like productivity. Um, I would say that we may be, I don't know, this is bold, but this is what we're here for a soapbox. I think we're in the age of like toxic productivity. And for me, I mean, I have to
Mm,
be upfront that I entered the workforce a little later. So most therapists, if they want to an undergrad degree, like psych degree, social work, get a master's, they're entering the field maybe 23, 24 years old if they're traditional route, whatever. Some people make it a second career. So, like, I'm gonna acknowledge, like, I entered the workforce late. So 2019, graduate in July,
wait,
start working.
that's late. Oh my God, excuse me. That's entering it late.
Well, but I mean, okay, give me. So let's compare to someone who enters the workforce right out of high school. So they graduate high school. So
Okay.
that person has been working in their field or has a work history that would maybe be 6 years longer than you or me. Someone who didn't need a master's degree and they got a 4 year degree, they had 2 years more of working. So the reason I say this is like I had, shoot, 6 months of a normal working in the workforce, trying to figure things out. And then COVID hits. And then you get the age of Zoom and people trying to do Zoom hacks and all these things. And now we have Teams and Zoom and this and that and this and that. And I think we can track almost anything. The week we're recording this, Teams has made an update that will share where someone's location is what's going on. So if that is going on, like not only could you see, oh, they're at their desk or at their computer, now it's like, oh, you're not in the office. Like, I mean, to a higher level. And I think the thing that concerns me is like, I mean, how far do we take this with measuring things? So those are just like work productivity things. You can't go on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and not hear about all these people doing so well or the grind or the hustle. The economy is not doing super great. We don't talk about this a ton, but as therapists, I mean, I most of I I'll be I'll I mean I won't put you on the spot, Tiffany, but I would say most of my therapist friends have some kind of other gig that they do, teaching, supervision, adjunct, coaching. It's not usually just straight up therapy because it's kind of tough to get into that market if they're trying to do things on their own. So I think with all that, it just gets really, how productive is this person? Look at all they have. Look at this. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that. And I just think we have to be really mindful. It's very ableist. It's very, you know, I'm gonna stop because I feel like I'm just going. So Tiffany, anything off of what I'm throwing out here so far that you're like, hmm.
Um, I just I find it interesting, and I'm probably gonna derail this because my brain is not here. Interesting to like the entering the workforce kind of portion because my brain was like, wait a minute, I entered the workforce in 2019 too. But I also have a really bad habit of like not thinking about people's ages. Like for whatever reason, it doesn't register in my brain, and I'm just like, oh, you did this really cool thing. It's accomplishment. Like, and so for me, I guess my brain was kind of like, what do you mean you entered it late? Like that was the perfect time for you to enter, like given that your journey is going that way.
Well, yes, I'm more mean. to acknowledge that by the time I started as a full-time counselor, some people had been in the workforce for 6 years versus, I mean, I was working my way through school and different things, but, like, I wasn't, you know, at, I don't know. It probably doesn't matter. But I
But
think we
also,
have to be really
you
careful.
mentioned this actually kind of blew my mind because I've never actually like stopped and think, thought, thought, thought about it. Oh boy. um, I know that we started in 2019 as like that's when we entered, and like we didn't even get a full year before they were like COVID,
No,
and that like
I'm not
just
make
now registered to me when you said that. I was like, oh shit, I didn't actually even get a full year of like normalcy.
wow. I Yeah, I mean, I just remember for those, I mean, anyone listening to this was alive during COVID, unless there's like little 8-year-olds that really are passionate about destigmatizing therapy. And if that's you, thanks for being here.
Love
Um,
you guys.
Appreciate you guys. I don't even know if 8-year-olds are allowed to be on podcasts now that I think about it.
Oh,
uh,
random side tangent, because that's where my brain's at today. There is I don't know if it's considered a bill, but there's some legislation trying to be passed in Europe of like making where once a kid becomes old enough they can like sue their parents for like improper like social media portrayal. They're like using their kids as influencers. I was like, this is cool. That's cool.
that's terrifying. That is needed, not that that's an option. Um, but I think that speaks to, or it's just people just, I feel like we've glamorized go, 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 go. And then we look at like people who aren't doing that as like what's wrong with them, what's going on. And I'm not trying to be like projecting, like I know there's people who aren't seeing this. It's just it's tough. It's tough to see this shift, this go, 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 go,
Mhm.
go, 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 go,
Yeah.
go, go. I
I don't
think
know if
it's
that's
bringing out,
I would argue the opposite. Like I think it's like it's not really hard to see. Like we are so focused on productivity that like we're even looking at like monetizing our children as a source of income. Like child influencers are a thing, like because we're so focused on like
gross.
how do we make more money? How do we be more, how do we make more, be
Well,
more, be more?
it's really interesting that we're in this phase. I went back to school because I every therapist has told this joke that, oh, I'm a therapist, I'm not good at math. Ha ha ha. Like I've told that joke a million times, and probably every other
It was
therapist
not.
has. So it was so I went back and got an MBA, and I actually think some of the critiques of MBA bros is fair game. Because honestly, you could learn numbers and ways to grow something and be like, oh, I'm going to cut corners here. It's just about the numbers. And if you need an example of that, you look at Boeing. And so Boeing before was like, if it's not Boeing, we don't fly. Very high standards, take good care of something, keep people safe. And then like now they're in a huge disaster. But I also want to say that you can misuse something with therapy. Like therapists can learn how to communicate with somebody and build a rapport, a connection, read people, and like you can totally misuse that. I hope that none of us are, but you and I both see those emails from the board every quarter,
There's
and people
so
do.
many people
There's
on those
so many
emails.
people. It's hard to read all of them. Yeah. Um, so one of the things I feel like we have to, and I just think it as a society, as a field, like, yeah, is it if you could have a therapist who can heal a wound in 10 less sessions, like that makes sense to me that you want to know what that person's doing and you want to make sure that happens for everyone. I think what does happen though in that model is you're not looking at neurodivergence, you're not looking at trauma informed care because genuinely, and I don't mean this like in a crappy way, like you can't do that when the focus is how quickly can we get this done? How quick, like, could you do that model for cars that need oil changes? Sure, right? You can't do that with a person who has survived human trafficking, a person who has trust issues from childhood trauma. It just those are just two examples of like, we really can't do this number thing. And I appreciate the VA and all of the care they provide to so many people every single day. I really appreciate the scale of that organization. I have so many patients who do not like the VA because that doesn't work for them. They don't like that. They don't like that feeling pushed, feeling kind of out of their control. It's not, they try their best. And I know there's a lot of wonderful people that work at the VA and I appreciate them. But that's just not, it's not going to work for everyone. And so I really am getting concerned about some of this productivity things. We've talked about this a lot on our podcast, Tiffany, of like people who have anxiety. Oh my God, they're so like that's so great. I anxious clean my house. I stress clean my house. Oh, I make art when I'm sad. That's not everybody's symptoms, but I just kind of connecting this. It's that focus on productivity. You see it connecting in like people's mental health. Like, oh, like I need to be productive. Oh, I'm healed, so I need to show something for it. Or like it's not about the healing, it's not about the journey. It's about, oh, like what do and I've used that language before, like, what do we have to show for your time here? And that is not the right language to use. So I'm gonna call myself out.
Yeah. The world is unfortunately running on a treadmill of like, what are you producing? What are you making? What are you doing? And I won't lie, a lot of my work is reminding people of like, and potentially probably being called a bitch behind my back for it, of like, what you produce ultimately doesn't matter. Like, your time is your money. And like, if you're not spending that wisely, then like, what are you actually making for yourself? Like, what is your true productivity of like producing things that you value versus producing things that someone else is telling you to produce that have absolutely no value to you whatsoever, other than like helping you pay a bill, which I know is important on its own, but like the work is always going to be there.
It is. You're right. Yeah. I fear for, I don't want to say society, that feels too strong, but I fear of the toll this is going to put on people. I fear like when you're, I mean, I don't know, like the software I use, we're not sponsored by them, so they don't get a shout out for free. Told me how many minutes and hours I spent in therapy last year. And it was like, wow, okay, damn. Uh, that was not helpful for me personally to see because I was like, oh, I don't really love that that's the number. That's more than I wish it was. Um,
But it just reminds me of like community mental health. Like, I am going to plaster them, not any particular one, but all of them, where like they have that productivity scale for all their clinicians that work there. You have to meet and reach productivity. And that pisses me off to no end because I'm like, people aren't numbers. Like, as you were mentioning, like our brains are not numbers to be ran through and be like, oh, they're done.
well, that's interesting. And I do hear what you say. This is where I get stuck because, well, we're really getting at a soapbox now, but that's kind of the point, isn't it? To do the stuff. I agree that some places, if it's only about numbers, it's only about numbers. You're gonna miss a lot. And so this is why, honestly, I mean, if I could say, like, I've been trained as a therapist, had a master's degree, and I didn't feel equipped to handle some of those conversations as a clinical supervisor. Me personally, I'm not saying that there's people who couldn't, but I did not feel equipped to have that holistic conversation. And the reason I think that we have this very skewed system is somebody gets taught, well, a key performance indicator, KPIs, that's what you got to be about. So you could look at a KPI of like how much we bill per claim and be like, hey, we got to get that up. We got to get that up. Get those numbers up. Get those numbers up. But if you don't know that that person is dealing with medical complications personally, you don't know that they're family members in the hospital and they feel like they trust you and have your back, you're a terrible supervisor. Straight up. Like I'm being very like that. That is what I think the problem is. If we look at that model, is that if you're only focused on this group of numbers and you don't look at the whole umbrella, which is what you should be doing, of like, oh, how's my team? How's their growth? How's their development? What's our culture like? Yeah, that sucks. Like that model doesn't work. And I think unfortunately, if we think about our field, Tiffany, so many people don't want to be supervisors. They don't want to do that. They got into the field not because they wanted to do that. They wanted to be a therapist. And there's legitimately nothing wrong with that. It just means there's a gap. We don't have enough counselors. We don't have enough supervisors. If we don't have enough of those things, then we know that there's not enough good supervisors because there's not even enough just general supervisors in general.
There's not enough good therapists either. You can you can
True.
you can call me on it, but I'm gonna put it out there.
No, no, I do. So that's what's hard. And I mean, I've talked with interns, I've talked with therapists, and I love private practice. I think it gives a lot of control, a lot of autonomy, a lot of space to do therapy the way you want. At the same time, if you're a private practice therapist taking insurance, you do have a stakeholder. I won't say boss, but you have a stakeholder. United Healthcare has expectations for how you document, expectations for how you treat. The counseling board has expectations for how you take care of certain situations and follow up. So I do get it. I think Tiffany, you and I have talked a lot off mic about some of these group practices that we maybe have been previously employed at or know of or have friends or hear about. They have issues of, are they getting paid? Issues of, are they taken care of? I know solo practice people who have issues. They're not providing ethical care. So I think every model, like to be fair, has clear strengths and clear weaknesses. And I think it's hard to know as a master coming out. I mean, just being real, like I didn't know. Like I didn't know what model was going to be best for me and my health. Like just being honest.
Yeah. Yeah, it unfortunately takes a long time to figure that out.
And I'm gonna bitch about our training as counselors because honestly, I got better supervisor skills, not from the 30 hours of CEUs, but in one leadership coaching course in business school. I got more actual help of like literally even neuroscience. So like sometimes I think as therapists, like, oh, neuroscience, that's us. Well, there's a ton of fields that use neuroscience. It's not just us. And I got better working information and because it wasn't gate kept it was like, hey, here's how you have a conversation to help someone be in their learning zone. um so yeah, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm the defender of community mental health. I think any large scale organization, you are going to have issues individualizing things. That is just going to come with that piece of it. I think our communities need big resources like that to meet their needs. Because as much as I'd like to say us private practice therapists are like the best and going, we're not seeing as many people as these agencies. We're not always the best at communicating and working systemically. And so it's tough. I think there's fair critiques though. I tell you, I really do. I think the field has grown a lot in general, more paid internships, people sticking up, expecting more, clients expecting more, not putting up with so much BS from people. Um, but yeah, there's fair issues.
Yeah. Then like shout out to the clients who are saying like I'm done with this model and they're working to find models that actually make sense for them because like you guys are going to be the one who are going to spur the biggest change in the field.
Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe we have to do some follow-up because I'm sitting here as someone that's been in a nonprofit, a for-profit, and private practice, and I guess I've not been in the hospital system or the VA. I find them all very interesting. I think I think that's just kind of how us therapists go, though, like we find our thing, we find what we prefer, and I think we're all in, which is kind of makes sense. We have to be all in, like when we're in the room with somebody. But sometimes I think, and I'm guilty of this. Of course, I think what I'm doing is the best thing. Of course, what I think I've decided is the best way. And it's hard to like want to acknowledge, oh, somebody here has this, somebody here has that. Because I mean, who wants to feel like they made the wrong choice, air quotes? Who wants to feel like, oh, I'm not living to my full potential? I don't.
Right. I definitely don't want to feel like I'm living to my full potential, but I do know um I have a tendency to like with clients just let them know like I am human and this might not like what we're doing might not work. And if it's not working, like I need you to communicate that to me because like you're essentially coming to me saying like I want to use this modality and that's what I'm going to use, but like I'm not in your brain. You have to advocate in terms of like, hey, this isn't
Excuse
working,
me.
or like, hey, I need something else, or hey, can you help me find something or someone that will work in a way that makes sense?
Yeah, I think we have to keep coming back to this, Tiffany, but I appreciate your thoughts. And one of the things I love about these combos is like Tiffany, I don't have to see all this the same, and our field certainly sees nothing the same. So I mean, we get along just fine, but like you can hear maybe the different lenses Tiffany and I bring to this, and I don't think mine is, oh my God, I'm perfect and flawless. Like that's not real life. So um I appreciate Tiffany sharing just like what you have today.
Yeah, that's the only way we can grow and be stronger as a community is be communicative about the differences and understanding them.
Yeah. Change sparks change.
Change sparks change.